Danny Wallace, welcome to the Miller Report on PCGamesN.
Thank you very much. I brought you some flowers. I feel like we're in a car. Do you feel like we're in a car?
No, I feel like we're in the world's brightest hotel room in the Me Hotel, London.
Which is a fine establishment.
It's got a strange name. Because it's not my hotel, and yet it's called the Me Hotel. It's going to confuse people.
Is that how you describe things? So if you got a pizza, you go, this is Me Pizza.
That's exactly it.
That's how you talk.
I'm trying to re-establish grammar throughout the human race.
Good.
I don't like my, I prefer me.
Good.
I like the focus to be on me.
Well, that's good. It cuts to the chase as well.
Yeah, that's why this is me interview. Got what I'm doing. It's not your interview, it's me interview. Anyway, I've been told during this I have to be very polite.
Why?
Someone just said, Miller, don't go down there and do your usual shtick, you may offend Danny Wallace. So I said, okay, I'll be polite. So I agreed to ask you how you are.
Oh.
How are you?
Very well, thank you for asking.
Good, right, that's out of the way now. I've done what I was told to do.
Sure.
Now I have to ask the hard-hitting questions, because if I don't, my audience will be upset with me, and they'll say, Miller, you didn't have the balls. Yeah. Danny Wallace was there and you cowered out. So it's a simple question.
First, it's me audience.
You're right, it is me audience.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Thank you for correcting. If you can keep correcting me through this grammatically, because I'm still getting used to it myself. But if you do it, me-self. There we go. If we do this together, get it out there.
Pop it out there, make it happen.
Exactly.
What's your cheeky question?
Right, my cheeky question is this. Were you in Assassin's Creed?
Me cheeky question.
What was my cheeky question? Were me, and by that I mean you, in Assassin's Creed?
What, the video game series?
Yes. Did you voice a character in it?
That's absolutely correct,
Why?
yes. Well, a gentleman asked me to, and it seemed like the polite thing to do at the time. He said, "Would you like to be in this video game?" And I said, "Yes, of course I would."
Right. Okay, that's the answer I was hoping for, because nobody likes Assassin's Creed.
Oh, come on now.
No, I'm serious. I didn't want to be the person to break it to you.
Name me 40 people who don't like Assassin's Creed.
Right. I don't like Assassin's Creed.
It's one.
Right. That's one. I've never asked that, but I'm presuming by the fact.
Don't presume. Don't come to me with your speculation, and not come to me with facts.
Well, I don't talk to many people.
One person is what you say.
Well, maybe me. I don't like it yet. Well, as I already established, I'm trying to change grammar because I believe that the world, gravitates around me, and therefore, if I don't like Assassin's Creed, my assumption is that nobody else does.
Me assumption. Now, what is it about Assassin's Creed that so irks you?
This is my interview. This is me interview. This is me interview.
Well, I want to get deep inside your mind.
Okay, fine. I was excited about the first one.
Yeah.
I was really excited. I used to watch all the trailers on the YouTube and get excited and be like, I want to kill people in a video game. Because let's face it, not enough video games do it.
Yeah.
I like the fact it was like a stealthy kill. Usually it's, gun in the face and all that stuff. I thought, no, I like this. And then I played the first one, and it was nothing like they told me it was going to be. They told me I'd be able to do X and Y and Z, and when I got there, it was A, B, and C.
Well, I think that's taught you a very valuable lesson about, what to believe in the media, fake news, and also being your own man. I respect that you don't like it, because it means that, you're in the minority and you're not afraid to be. I think a lot of people probably see you walking by and just go, that guy is an outsider. Let's get as far away from him as we can. It's out of respect.
Exactly. Well, I've always thought, a lot of people say to me, it's because nobody likes you, and I laugh that off. I'm like, that's obviously not true. No. And also, as we all know, who needs friends?
Well, exactly.
I don't need friends. Friends just want money, and they want your time.
Yeah. And you should tell yourself that every night.
I do, in bed.
Yeah.
Just before I pull the covers up, and sometimes I get a teary-eyed, I remind myself that nobody needs friends.
Don't need them!
No, don't need them. Anyway, we're well off tangent here.
Sure.
Thank you for addressing the Assassin's Creed thing. I like to believe now it was just a business arrangement, and deep down you agree with me. But we're going to go on that. What is your relationship with video games in general? Like, are you a fan, predominantly, or do you now see yourself as within the realm of video games itself? I mean...
I'm a fan. I'm a gamer. I grew up on games. I did work experience on a games magazine, and then that led me into working on games mags when I was a teenager.
Which games mags did you work on?
Sega Power.
I remember Sega Power.
Total.
I remember Total.
Games Master.
I remember Games Master.
Superplay. I wrote a column about Nintendo tips, and I didn't own a Nintendo or know anything about Nintendo.
Right, so a normal video games journalist just made up.
Exactly.
What tips did you give? If you never played it, how are you giving tips?
Just come up with tips.
Give me a tip right now.
With reviews as well, you'd give everything sort of 68%, because you're not really giving an opinion.
You didn't actually play it, did you?
Well, no, often you'd play it for a bit.
Yeah, because the secret of games journalism, as we know, everyone knows, is you don't actually play the games, you just kind of watch it for a bit, and then you kind of know deep down and you make a judgment call and go with it.
Based on years of experience of just watching games.
Exactly.
Try before you buy. That was the most important phrase when I was a reviewer. Try before you buy. Completely non-committal. Just saying, you might like it, you might not. Give it a go. I do remember, though, a friend of mine, Simon Crook, writing a review of The Lion King. And it was on the Mega Drive, I think. And so they'd agreed to give it like 10 pages or something. But Simon,
10 pages?
Yeah, it was those days. Simon went out the night before. He may have indulged in a few things. Some of them legal, some of them not. And the review came back, and it had to go through the production editor and the editor, and then you have to wait weeks for the magazine to come back. The review didn't really mention the game once. It was all written from the point of view of a fly, I think, landing on Simba's back, who had the power of metaphor. So Virgin Games, who made it, never talked to Simon again.
That sounds mad.
Yeah.
So he wrote the review. Oh, he didn't mention the game. What score did he give it?
Well, I don't know, probably 68%.
Exactly, yes, we established as the score that you give a video game.
Yeah. Try before you buy. I mean, I'm also a creature of habit, so back when I wasn't downloading as much and I would have sort of just a CD there, it was whatever was in, just stayed in until the new version came out.
So lazy you couldn't even be bothered to eject the game.
Yeah.
Right.
So I mean, that's how I went through all the Call of Duties. I love Rocket League. I love VR. I've been getting into.
VR is actually quite good. I don't like heaping praise on any type of video games because it is obviously a nonsensical form of entertainment. But VR is actually quite entertaining, especially when you experience it for the first time. It's like, oh my gosh, this is exciting.
Well, yeah. Well, even the simple game like Headmaster.
Yeah.
So I mean, my dad is in his 70s. I got him to sit down.
No, you should do that.
What?
70-year-old man's not going to understand VR. He's terrified.
It was
He's going to get confused about what is real and what's not real.
No. Put it on. He was heading the ball left, right and centre. He was a great footballer in his youth. He understood. My mother, when she walked in, she didn't understand what was happening.
Right.
Because she couldn't see any correlation between the TV and what my dad was doing and just thought he'd gone into spasms on the chair.
Yeah. I mean, after that, did you sort of reject and put in Resident Evil 7? And go, so what's the last video game you played?
I was playing Overwatch over the weekend. No? Why not?
Because it's so weird. It's like, there's some weird fan culture around it now where...
You're weird and there's a weird fan culture around you.
Exactly. This is why I understand other weird fan cultures because I'm right in there. But it's turned into this thing where, you know, people that play actually are in love with the characters.
That is, well, some of them are fairly alluring.
Okay, is this your way of telling me in a roundabout way that you are one of these people that are in love with the Overwatch character?
Just saying, there's one or two that if you met in a bar and you got talking and times were different.
Yeah, if times were different,
hadn't made the choices you'd made in life. You hadn't got married so young and had kids. Then maybe Farah might be in your life a bit more than she is now.
Right. Okay.
She's not. She's a video games character, and you have to remember that, Danny.
Yeah, you do. Because it's not real. That's the key thing, Danny. It's not real.
But it could be.
No, it couldn't. Only in the world of Overwatch. Also, how can you fall in love with a digital sprite where all you ever find out about this person, they've got a gun and they're like shooting things? What's the appeal?
Well, at least you know their interests. You've got that in common. You know what they're up to. You know how they speak. You know the little phrases they like to say, the little jokes. You can imagine. Well, all sorts of things. But also just the words digital sprite just sound just cute and lovely.
Okay. Have you ever accidentally called your wife Farah?
Not yet.
Not yet. But you're planning to. The yet it assumes, gives me the idea that you're planning to one day call your wife Farah.
It's going to happen.
Right, you're building up to it.
Yeah.
Why haven't you done it yet?
Nerves.
Fair point.
Nerves. The fact that we're married.
That's point two.
The kids.
I do have to ask you this because this is for PCGamesN, which, if you don't know, it stands for the PC Gamer Network or something like that, but I've got a PC Games Nerds.
Well, I served 1 month on PC Gamer magazine.
You served on. I know the editor of PC Gamer magazine.
Do you?
Yes, obviously this is PC GamesN, it's different, but
yes, absolutely.
I have to establish that because otherwise I get told off.
Well, this was a long time ago,
yes.
so it's probably not the same guy.
No, I imagine not. He's quite young, so that was terrifying.
Yeah, exactly.
Although he'd have been about 10, and to be honest, that's the middle age of most video game journalists anyway, so I'm sure he would have got on fine.
Yeah, well, but I've never really got into the PC side of things. It's always been consoles for me, just for sheer convenience.
Exactly.
Just to get in there, get stuck in. I don't want to be typing things. That just seems too much.
There's a mouse as well where you click a lot.
I've
seen those games where you
the
just
mouse.
click and people pretend it's really important and plow thousands of millions of dollars into it. In reality, they're literally. Imagine when you're on your deathbed, right? You're like, wow. I mean, it's different for you, but like what I've achieved. Right. But imagine you just play League of Legends for your entire life, and you have the flashback where you're like, I just did this. That's my life.
Yeah, that's true.
Monkey could do that.
Well, that's
do that.
I think you're alienating your audience slightly.
They're not my audience. I don't associate with. I mean, just looking through a lens there.
Yeah, that's true.
People, it's not like there's anyone behind that camera. That is just a camera lens.
Right.
That's why I love the camera. I don't have to know those people.
Yeah.
They're in YouTube land.
Yeah.
YouTube land. That's a whole other discussion for another day. We can get. What's your feelings on YouTube? There you go. That's a question.
Well, it's a wonderful video sharing service.
What do you think of PewDiePie? There you go.
PewDiePie. He's an interesting fella. I haven't really. He sort of passed me by, and he seems smart, sort of switched on fella. Apart from the controversy.
Yeah. Well, I actually agree with you to a certain degree. The controversy happened, and I was like, maybe you're not that smart.
Yeah, the controversy certainly put that in mind for me as well. But hopefully he's past the controversy now.
I hope so. The word controversy now has become controversial in itself.
Yeah.
Indeed.
I just didn't want to mention Nazis.
No, well, sometimes you just sit there, you look out of a window that's really bright, and you think, you know what? Shouldn't mention Nazis right now.
Yeah.
It's just not the time.
Not the time.
Although video games do enjoy allowing you to shoot Nazis.
They do.
That's why I'm good at my job.
Yeah, you brought it right back.
I really did.
For example, well, I was going to say Battlefield 1, but of course that's pre-Nazi party.
I think that was on the box. It was like pre-Nazi warfare. I was like, well, that just sounds wonderful.
No, that's not what it said.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I know.
Pre-Nazi warfare?
I think it said pre-Nazi. Well, I'm going to say that's what it said with absolutely no knowledge whatsoever.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, pre-Nazi warfare.
Wow.
Maybe it said that. I don't know.
Yeah.
It said that one.
But that's a good game.
Battlefield 1?
Yeah.
It is a good game. What do you like about it?
Running around.
Yeah, well,
running around. And just... those Battlefield games are great, but I find them, whenever I play a new one, I get overwhelmed very quickly, just by the scale of them. And
yeah, they're massive.
They're massive, and there's people everywhere, and they've all been playing for ages. And I just find myself picked off left, right, and centre.
Yeah, that's why I stopped playing them. Because it's like an inferior complex quickly. You're like, I'm no good at this.
Yeah.
It's just ruining my self-esteem, it's ruining my confidence. That's not what I want from a video game.
No, you're quite right.
That's why I play Gears of War. What's your opinions on Gears of War? Careful now.
I think you should carry on playing it if you enjoy it.
That's a great idea, but what do you think about Gears of War?
Well, I think it's a wonderful way for you to spend your time.
You've never played Gears of War,
No.
have you? Unbelievable. Why have you never played Gears of War?
Well, why is the sky blue? Why am I wearing shoes? Why anything?
Okay, the sky is blue, something to do with water. I can't remember the specifics. You're wearing shoes because if you didn't, somebody would put you in jail. The reason why you haven't played Gears of War, I don't know the answer to that.
Right, you didn't know the answer to the sky one either, so that's two.
Something to do with water, that's a...
You sounded clever, but actually you didn't answer
If I wrote that on a geography test, something to do with water, they'd give it a tick.
Really?
Yes. I used to be a geography teacher.
Did you?
No.
Oh. You're tricksy. You're fleet of foot. You take me one way, you send me down there, but you're over there.
Exactly. And then when you go down there, I'm behind you.
Yeah, but you're also in front of me.
Exactly. I'm like an apparition of death.
Oh, I wasn't going to say that.
No, it sounded cool though, really.
No,
You don't think so?
No.
It sounded good.
It's not something I'd open with, like on a date or something.
I thought you're the apparition of death.
Yeah.
No, I'd probably argue that's not the best thing to do in the world. Hello, how are you? Well, I'm the apparition of death.
Yeah.
It's probably going to go south.
Swipe right or left, whichever way it is.
I wouldn't put it on my Tinder profile. I'd wait until I was in the venue of choice before saying I'm the apparition of death.
So you've got a Tinder profile?
Well, no, I don't. I've never actually used it.
Fleet of foot.
Yeah,
over there. Where is he?
Exactly. Now, I do want to ask you this. I understand it's the most generic question of all time, but people want this. Give the audience what they want.
They want generic, bland questions.
Exactly. You know why? Because they're generic, bland people.
Right.
See what I did there? I exposed them for what they are.
Yeah.
But of course, what is your favourite game of all time?
I don't think that's any of your business.
You're actually right. I agree with you. I don't think anybody should share personal stories, but
it's too personal.
It is too personal.
So many different games for so many different eras. You know what I mean? There isn't one overall. There's games that remind me of certain times.
Yeah, nostalgia plays a big key.
Nostalgia.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, if I had to only play one, and I got very good at it when I was playing it for one whole long, glorious summer. I loved GoldenEye on the N64.
Yeah, it's a good shout.
Oh, it was brilliant. And the way you could just shoot a rocket up and you knew that guy running there, by the time you got there, it landed on his head. Just all those, that for me was a brilliant, brilliant summer when that game came out.
Yeah.
Of friends and barbecues and warm lagers and constant GoldenEye.
That's a wonderful summer. And of course, that was the last good summer we ever had.
Yeah.
And then it was just downhill from there.
It really was.
It really was. Danny, before we let you go, we understand how interviews work. Is there anything you'd like to plug or anything you'd like to shill on camera? I mean, you have an opportunity to do that to thousands of people. So.
Well, when does this go out?
This will probably go out on Monday, unless there's some embargo I have no idea about.
Yeah.
No one's told me, so I don't know.
Well, I'd like to plug last week's BAFTA Video Games Awards, which you could have watched on Twitch had you seen this. So, because it's too late for that, the Me London Hotel. If you enjoy doing interviews,
we've established,
and you want to do them sort of feeling like you're in a hot car, they also do wonderful cocktails, all manner of things, wonderful flooring, and free flowers.
And
so,
remember, if you want to feel like you're in a hot car, that's why you come to the Me Hotel. Danny Wallace, thank you very much for being on the Miller Report PCGamesN. I would say I'll see you soon, but we may never see each other again, because nobody knows what the future holds.
Yeah, well, let's hope.
We never see each other again. But I am the apparition of death.
Well, that's true.
So I could be stalking you for the rest of your days.
Well, it was me pleasure.
And mine. Or me.
Now I know you enjoyed that, so why don't you give a little something back to PCGamesN and subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment on the video, and then go share it on your social network of choice.